Let's play a game, shall we? Be honest. Have you ever done something good, in quotes, and then secretly hoped people would notice? You helped a friend move, but you posted a picture with the caption, "So tired after helping today, but grateful." Or maybe you donated money and you subtly slid it into conversations later on. Or you gave someone advice, not to help them, but so they would remember how wise you are. Yeah, that's the ego trap. Pride sneaking in through the back door, even into our good intentions. I wish you could see me right now quoting the good in person for you. Ego is that thing that deadens the pain of stupidity. On today's episode of Random Talk with NG, we're talking about how pride shows up where we least expect it and how to step out of the ego trap. You may be thinking, NG has come again. What exactly is the ego trap? The ego trap isn't always loud arrogance. It's often subtle, it whispers. If no one sees it, does it even count? Do it, but make sure they know it was you who did it. Or be humble, but in a way people get to admire your humility. It's that sneaky part of us that turns service into performance, love into transaction, and kindness into branding. Oh yes. C.S. Lewis said, "True humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less." You're in the ego trap when you do dishes for your partner, then you walk past them 3 times louder than normal with the dish towel, just waiting for them to say, "Wow, thanks." When you decide to make lunch for your friends, and then you're expecting them every 5 minutes, "Thank you for the food. Thank you for the food. Thank you for the food." Ask yourself, so what one good deed you've done lately that, if you're honest, you kind of wanted credit for, whether you got that credit or not? Why do you think we fall into the ego trap? Why does pride sneak into good intentions? The first reason I tend to think of is we crave validation. We want to know that we matter. Sometimes we fear invisibility. Doing good without recognition feels like wasted energy. That's what some of us think. Sometimes we tie identity to performance. If people don't see us as good, smart, or generous, then who are we? I once volunteered at an event at work, working long hours, and then when it was time for good pictures, I was still busy hustling to make sure that the food was fine and everything was, going on well. And one of my colleagues saw me and said, "I don't understand. They've called the committee members on stage. Why exactly are you not there to take good picture?" I said, "Is it about good picture? Some people have not gotten something to eat. I'm not interested in the good picture." And it didn't make sense to her. And then she went on to say that, if nobody mentions my contribution, if I'm not in that picture, I will be so annoyed. I'll be so angry. Imagine. And in my head, I'm like, I don't understand. Why are you doing something for others, but secretly angry that it didn't spotlight you? That's the ego trap at work. So pride is concerned with who is right. Humility is concerned with what is right. And that's a quote by Ezra Taft Benson. Think back, when was the last time you got upset? Not because the work was hard though, but because it wasn't noticed. And so this is how ego disguises itself. Firstly, in generosity. I gave, therefore I'm superior. Why? Why exactly do you think that you should be singled out as the one who donated the bulk of the money? In relationships, I forgave you. Don't forget it. Remember that when you offended me, I forgave you time and over again. Why exactly should you keep on recalling or, bringing up the person's past? I'm the humble hard worker, but you secretly want the spotlight. It's just funny. You're part of a committee. You're part of a group planning something. You should not be thinking about how to be in the spotlight, how to let everyone know that, oh, truly, it was me. You are there hustling high table. Or guy, you're supposed to be at the backstage trying to make sure everything is fine. In faith and spirituality, you're performing goodness instead of living it. You want to show off. Let them know that it was me who did this. Let them know it was me who rallied around to make sure the whole place was neat. Let them know it was me who gave this. No. Ego is not not evil, but when it drives, it always crashes. It's like pride wears camouflage, right? It doesn't show up shouting. Look at me. Sometimes it whispers. Post that with the hashtag blessed. So, how do we step out of the trap? Check your motives. Ask yourself, if nobody knew I did this, would I still do it? Practice hidden good. Do something good intentionally without telling anyone. Shift from self to service. I want you to focus on impact and not on credit. Invite accountability. Have people who can lovingly call out your pride. And above all, stay teachable. Remember, we're all students and never masters. Ego interrupts learning. Humility fuels growth. So, what's one way you can practice hidden good this week? Maybe send money anonymously or help without posting it online. Here is the truth: pride will always knock, ego will always try to sneak in. But every time we choose humility, we win back freedom. Because according to Ryan Holiday, and I totally agree with him, ego is the enemy of true success. Here is one challenge to you and to me. This week, do one good deed and tell no one, not social media, not your group chat, not even your closest friend, just you, the action, and the quiet. Because sometimes the most powerful victories are the ones no one claps for. Thanks for tuning in to Random Talk with NG. If this episode shook something in you, share it with a friend. But remember, don't just look humble, live it. And you can always connect with me on Instagram at Random Talk with NG, where I promise no ego. Thank you for listening and have a sweet week ahead.